Your body is constantly speaking to you. It is whispering secrets about your internal health. But most of us are completely deaf to the message until it turns into a scream of pain. You look in the mirror every day, but do you actually see what is staring back at you? Those tiny imperfections, the cracks, the spots, the textures, they are not just cosmetic annoyances. They are distress signals from your biology. Today we are going to decode the 23 specific warning signs that your body is starving for vital nutrients. This is the ultimate guide to reading your own biology like a map. But I have to warn you right now. Once you learn this language, you will never look at people the same way again. You will look at your friends and family and immediately see their internal struggles written on their faces and hands. So resist the urge to diagnose everyone at the dinner table because nobody wants to hear why they have white specks on their nails or why their skin is peeling while they are trying to eat. Before we dive into the symptoms, we need to understand the crime scene. Why are we so deficient in the first place? It comes down to 3 major culprits. First is the broken barrier, your gut. You could be eating the most expensive, nutrient-dense superfoods on the planet, but if your gut is inflamed or damaged, it is like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. This is malabsorption. If you are missing a gallbladder, or if your bile is sluggish, you physically cannot pull in the fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. You are starving while eating. The second culprit is the great soil deception. We are facing a crisis where our soil has turned into lifeless dirt. Farmers are paid for the weight and volume of the crops, not the nutrient density. So, you go to the store and buy a tomato. It looks red, it feels round, but when you bite into it, there is no flavor. Why? Because flavor is chemically tied to nutrition. If it tastes like cardboard, it is chemically useless. This is why you crave spices and Doritos. Your body is desperate for the flavor that signals nutrition, but you are feeding it empty calories. The third culprit is the thief. Refined foods and sugars do not just give you empty calories, they actively rob you. They come into your body and deplete your existing reserves of nutrients just to be processed. It is a negative-sum game. Now, let us begin the decoding process with sign number 1. White spots on your fingernails. You have probably seen these little white specks halfway down the nail plate. Most people think this is just a random zinc deficiency, but that is only half the truth. It is actually a history of a sugar crime. Zinc is a mineral that your body desperately needs, but sugar acts as a thief that steals zinc from your reserves. If you see that white spot, you can trace it back about 3 months. Think back. Did you have a massive birthday cake? Did you go on a refined carbohydrate binge? That sugar spike depleted the zinc, and the white spot is the scar left behind. You have 2 choices. Stop feeding the thief by cutting sugar, or start reinforcing your defenses by taking more zinc. Sign number 2 is oily skin. This is not just a hygiene issue, it is a hormonal imbalance. Your sebaceous glands are pumping out too much sebum, which is the body's natural oil. This happens when your androgens, the male hormones, are out of control. Zinc is the regulator here. It is the gatekeeper that keeps androgens in check. If you lack zinc, the floodgates open and the oil pours out. For women, if you have oily skin and high androgens, this often points toward polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is deeply rooted in an insulin problem. High insulin drives the androgens, and the sugar drives down the zinc. It is a vicious cycle. The fix is simple but strict. Cut the sugar to lower insulin, and supplement with zinc to tame the oil glands. Sign number 3 involves the cracks in your armor. Specifically, cracking at the corners of your mouth, or deep, painful fissures on your heels. This is the body screaming for B vitamins, specifically vitamin B2 and B3. These vitamins are responsible for maintaining the structural integrity of your tissue. Without them, the skin loses its elasticity and literally tears apart. But here is the fascinating connection. We often see this in the winter. Why? Because in the winter, you are not getting sun. No sun means no vitamin D. Vitamin D feeds the beneficial microbes in your gut. And those microbes are the factories that manufacture B vitamins for you. It is a domino effect. No sun leads to no microbial fuel, which leads to no B vitamins, which leads to cracked skin. You can patch this up quickly with nutritional yeast, which is loaded with B vitamins, but do not ignore the vitamin D connection. Sign number 4 is flaking skin. We are talking about that annoying, scaling flakiness that usually shows up around the nose or on the forehead. This is a war between fats. Your body needs essential fatty acids, specifically omega-3 and omega-6. But the modern diet is a disaster of inflammation. We are drowning in omega-6 fatty acids from nuts, peanut butter, chicken, fried foods, and restaurant oils, like corn and soy oil. When the ratio is skewed heavily toward omega-6, your skin rebels. It becomes dry and flaky. To win this war, you need to call a ceasefire on the omega-6 seconds and bring in the heavy artillery of omega-3 seconds. Fish, sardines, and especially cod liver oil. Cod liver oil is like a miracle serum for this specific type of flaking. It restores the balance almost immediately. Sign number 5 involves the eyes. If the whites of your eyes act turning yellow, this is jaundice. It is a liver alert. Your liver is the filter, and the gallbladder is the drain. When red blood cells die, they release a yellow byproduct. Normally, this is flushed out through the liver and bile ducts. But if you don't have enough bile salts, the drainage system gets clogged with thickened cholesterol sludge. The yellow waste backs up into your blood and stains your eyes. This is a clear sign that you are deficient in bile salts. You need to thin that sludge and open the drain plug. Purified bile salts can dissolve that blockage and allow the liver to detoxify properly again. Sign number 6 is a chronic, nagging cough. This is often not a lung infection, but a calcium deficiency. Calcium does more than build bones, it creates a relaxation effect in the soft tissues. If you are low in calcium, your throat and larynx can go into a subtle spasm, creating a tickle or tightness that makes you cough. Taking a high-quality calcium lactate before bed can relax the throat structures and stop the cough instantly. It acts almost like a natural muscle relaxer for the respiratory system. Sign number 7 is found in the sink. When you brush your teeth and spit, do you see pink, bleeding, or red? Swollen gums are not normal. It is not just about brushing too hard. This is a classic, undeniable sign of a vitamin C deficiency. We call this subclinical scurvy. You are not falling apart like a sailor from the 1700s, but you are fraying at the edges. Within the vitamin C complex, there is a component formerly known as vitamin P. This stands for permeability. It controls the tightness of your blood vessels. When you lack this nutrient, your capillaries, the tiny blood vessels in your gums, become like leaky pipes. They become fragile and porous, allowing blood to seep out at the slightest touch. This can even manifest as frequent nosebleeds. But here is the critical trap you need to understand. The chemistry of sugar is almost identical to the chemistry of vitamin C. They are molecular twins, but one is evil. If you consume sugar and vitamin C at the same time, your body will always choose the sugar first. It prioritizes the fuel over the repair. So even if you are taking supplements, a high sugar diet blocks the vitamin C from entering the cell. To fix the bleeding, you must cut the sugar and load up on leafy greens. You need to seal the leaks in your vascular system. Sign number 8 is a danger on the road. Night vision issues. Imagine you are driving at night. It is raining, and the oncoming headlights turn into a blinding starburst that clouds your vision. You cannot see in the dark. This is night blindness, and it is the hallmark of a vitamin A deficiency. Now, there is a massive misunderstanding about vitamin A. You have been told to eat carrots for your eyes. That is only half true. Plants contain beta-carotene, which is a precursor. It is like having foreign currency that you have to exchange at a bank before you can spend it. The conversion rate is terrible. The active form of vitamin A that your eyes actually use is called retinol. Retinol is found in animal products: dairy, butter, fatty fish, and especially beef liver and cod liver oil. If you are relying solely on spinach and carrots, your body might be struggling to convert that currency, leaving you blind in the dark. Egg yolks are a goldmine for retinol. If you want to see clearly at night, you need the active form of the vitamin, not just the precursor. Also, remember that vitamin A is fat-soluble. If your gallbladder is sluggish or removed, you cannot absorb the fat, which means you cannot absorb the vitamin A. You could be eating it, but it is passing right through you. Sign number 9 is an addiction for many people: chapped lips. You see people constantly applying chapstick, lotions, and oils. They apply it, feel relief for an hour, and then the dryness returns with a vengeance. Why? Because you are trying to fix an internal drought with external paint. Chapped lips, much like the cracks in your heels, are a sign of a vitamin B2 deficiency. The primary cause here is often the consumption of refined grains. Wheat, in its natural state, contains B vitamins. But when we refine it into white flour, we strip away the nutrition. When you eat that refined bread or pasta, your body has to use its own reserves of B2 to process it, depleting you further. It is a debt that keeps growing. Some lip balms make it worse by adding alcohol or mineral oils that strip your natural moisture barrier. The solution is to stop eating the grains that are robbing you and start taking nutritional yeast. Get the unfortified kind. It is a powerhouse of B vitamins that will heal the skin from the inside out, making the chapstick obsolete. Sign number 10 is visible on your feet. It is called pitting edema. If you look at your ankles or the top of your foot and they look puffy, try this test. Press your thumb firmly into the swollen area and hold it for a second. When you take your thumb away, does the dent stay there? Does it look like memory foam? That is pitting edema. This is a fluid dynamics problem caused by a potassium deficiency. In the body, sodium holds water and potassium pumps it out. Most people are drowning in sodium from processed foods and starving for potassium. Sugar also causes you to retain sodium. It acts like a dam, holding back the water. When you fix the ratio, when you flood the body with potassium from large salads and vegetables, you break the dam. The fluid rushes out, the swelling vanishes, and your ankles return to their normal size. Sign number 11 is a strange craving. Have you ever felt the urge to chew on ice? Not just to cool down, but a genuine desire to crunch on frozen water. Or maybe you have seen kids eating dirt. This is a condition called pica, and it is a desperate scream for iron. The body is confused. It knows it needs something from the earth, something mineral heavy, so it drives you to eat ice or dirt. But ice contains 0 iron. You are chasing a ghost. This is common in women during menstruation because they are losing blood and therefore losing iron. It is also seen in growing children. The best, most bioavailable source of iron is not spinach. It is red meat. Liver is even better. If you cannot stomach organ meats, you can find supplements made from grass-fed liver or spleen extract. These are loaded with the type of iron your body recognizes and absorbs instantly. Feed the body the iron it needs, and the desire to eat ice will melt away. Sign number 12 is terrifying. Angina. This is chest pain, a cramping of the heart muscle that can radiate down the left arm. This is the heart muscle screaming for oxygen and repair. It is a classic sign of a vitamin E deficiency. Vitamin E is the protector of your arteries. It prevents oxidation. Think of oxidation like rust. Without vitamin E, the insides of your arteries start to rust and corrode. This inflammation attracts calcium and cholesterol to patch the damage. leading to plaques and clots. What kills vitamin E? Refined grains. When flour is bleached to make it white, the chlorine gas used in the process oxidizes and destroys the natural vitamin E. It kills the nutrient before it ever reaches your plate. To protect your heart, you must eliminate these bleached, dead grains. If you need to supplement, do not buy the cheap stuff at the drugstore. Standard vitamin E is called tocopherol. You want the high-performance version called tocotrienols. They are 50 times stronger and more effective at clearing the rust from your cardiovascular system. This is the ultimate shield for your heart against the chest-crushing pain of angina. Sign number 13 is the midnight assassin. Leg cramps. You are fast asleep, and suddenly you are jolted awake by an agonizing pain in your calf. The muscle has locked up into a rock-hard knot that refuses to release. This is your body screaming for magnesium. Magnesium is the mineral of relaxation. Without it, your muscles contract but cannot let go. They stay frozen in a state of tension. Where do we find magnesium? It is at the very center of the chlorophyll molecule. Chlorophyll is the green blood of plants. If you are not eating green, leafy vegetables, you are starving your muscles of the ability to relax. It is that simple. You need big salads. When you flood the system with magnesium, the cramps vanish. There are other causes like potassium or sodium imbalances, but 9 times out of 10, if your calf locks up at night, you need to eat your greens. Sign number 14 is purely psychological, but it has a biological root: irritability, nervous tension, and the curse of excessive thinking. You know this feeling. You are physically exhausted. You lay down to sleep, but your brain turns on. It starts solving problems that do not exist. It replays arguments from 10 years ago. It plans the next 5 years. You cannot find the off switch. You feel grouchy, on edge, and impossible to be around. This is not a personality flaw. It is a vitamin B1 deficiency. Vitamin B1, or thiamine, is the nutrient that manages nervous energy. It is the chill pill of the vitamin world. When you are low on B1, your nervous system is stuck in the on position. Nutritional yeast is one of the most potent natural sources of B1. If you take a little bit of this, the effect is almost like magic. The mental chatter stops. The irritability dissolves. You become calm, pleasant, and finally, you can drift off to sleep without having to solve the world's problems first. Sign number 15 is a struggle for air. Asthma. This is a condition of chronic inflammation in the lungs. The airways swell shut, and breathing becomes a battle. While there are many triggers, the root cause of the inflammation is often a severe vitamin D deficiency. Vitamin D is the most powerful anti-inflammatory agent your body produces. It acts like a fire extinguisher for the immune system. We see a clear pattern. Asthmatic kids often get better in the summer. Why? Because they are outside, the sun hits their skin, and their vitamin D levels spike. The inflammation in the lungs subsides, and they can breathe. If you or someone you know is struggling with asthma, checking vitamin D levels is the first line of defense. It can drastically reduce the severity of the attacks. Sign number 16 is a subtle cosmetic clue that reveals a major hormonal issue. Go to a mirror and look closely at your eyebrows. Are they thinning? Specifically, is the outer third of the eyebrow disappearing? If the tail of your eyebrow is missing, this is the classic signature of a thyroid problem. It indicates you are low in iodine. Here's the mechanism. Your thyroid produces hormones called T4 and T3. The numbers stand for the amount of iodine molecules attached. T4 has 4 and T3 has 3. T4 is inactive. It does nothing. Your body has to strip away one iodine molecule to turn it into T3, the active fuel that runs your metabolism. If you are deficient in iodine, you cannot make these hormones properly. Your metabolism slows down, And one of the first side effects is hair loss on the outer eyebrow. The fix is to feed the thyroid what it needs. Sea kelp is a plant from the ocean that is naturally loaded with iodine. It is the raw material your thyroid is begging for. Sign number 17 is a master of disguise. Pain or tightness in the right trap muscle. This is the muscle right here, on top of your shoulder, going up into the neck. You might think you slept wrong, or you pulled a muscle at the gym. You try to massage it, but the knot never goes away. This is almost never a muscle problem. It is a referred pain from your gallbladder. There is a nerve called the phrenic nerve that extends from your gallbladder area all the way up to your right shoulder. When your gallbladder is choked with sludge because you lack bile salts, it swells and irritates this nerve. The signal travels up the wire and manifests as pain in your neck. It is a check engine light that is located far away from the engine. If you have this chronic tightness, stop treating the shoulder and start treating the liver. You need purified bile salts to thin the sludge and unclog the drain. Once the pressure is off the gallbladder, the right trap muscle will instantly relax. Sign number 18 is the stuff of nightmares. Literally. If you or your child suffers from chronic bad dreams, terrifying nightmares that leave you waking up in a cold sweat, this is a neurological glitch. There is a part of your brain called the amygdala. This is the fear center. It processes danger and threat. When the amygdala is hyperactive, it spins out of control while you sleep, creating horrific scenarios. What calms the amygdala? Vitamin B1. Just like B1 turns off the excessive thinking, it also regulates the fear response. A deficiency in B1 leaves the fear center unguarded. This deficiency is usually caused by a diet high in sugar and refined grains, the cereals, the breads, the pastas. These foods drain your B1 reserves. By cutting the carbs and adding nutritional yeast, you can sedate the amygdala and turn the nightmares back into peaceful sleep. Sign number 19 is the midnight salt hunt. You eat clean all day. You have your salad, your protein, you drink your water, but the moment the sun goes down, you are possessed by an uncontrollable craving for salty chips. You don't want sugar, you want salt. This is your body telling you that your electrolyte battery is dead. You are running on empty. This is a sodium deficiency. We have been brainwashed for decades to believe that salt is the enemy, that it causes high blood pressure and heart attacks. So we cut the salt, we drink gallons of water, and we flush out the little sodium we have left. When you sweat or exercise, you lose even more. The result? Your body screams for chips at night. The solution isn't to eat junk food, it is to use high-quality sea salt. Not the bleached white table salt, but real sea salt loaded with trace minerals. And here is the secret key. Salt is only dangerous if you lack potassium. They work as a team. If you have enough potassium from vegetables, you can handle the salt. If you balance your electrolytes, that midnight craving will vanish because your battery is finally charged. Sign number 20 is the rusty hinge effect. A stiff lower back. You wake up in the morning and you feel like you are 80 years old. Your lower back is tight, achy, and resistant to movement. You might blame your mattress or your posture, but if this happens, especially in the winter, it is almost certainly a vitamin D deficiency. Vitamin D is not just a vitamin. It is a steroid hormone that controls inflammation. When your levels drop, inflammation runs wild, settling in the weakest links of your body, often the lower back. It acts like rust in the joints. Taking a massive dose of vitamin D, at least 10,000 IUs, acts like a fire hose on that inflammation. It extinguishes the fire. But remember, vitamin D needs a navigator. You must take it with vitamin K2. Vitamin D helps you absorb calcium, but K2 tells the calcium to go into the bones, not into your arteries or joints. If you take D without K2, you could make the stiffness worse. Take them together, add some MCT oil for absorption, and watch your back loosen up as if you just oiled the hinges. Sign number 21 is the extreme version of the ice craving we discussed earlier. It is the craving for dirt. It sounds insane, but if you see a child eating dirt, or if you have a bizarre urge to taste the earth, this is the red alert for anemia. Your body is trying to mine the soil for iron. It is desperate. We see this in pets too. If your dog starts eating dirt, he is likely anemic. Again, do not eat the dirt. It is not bioavailable. You need heme iron. You need red meat, liver, and animal protein. This is the only form of iron that can pull you out of this deficiency fast enough to stop these strange, primal cravings. Sign number 22 affects men specifically: erectile dysfunction. This is a sensitive topic, but biologically, it is a math problem. Low testosterone equals low function. And what builds testosterone? Zinc. Zinc is the master mineral for male fertility and hormonal health. If you are deficient in zinc, perhaps because of the sugar we talked about earlier, or stress, or gut issues, your testosterone will plummet. You don't need a blue pill. You need to restock your building blocks. Zinc is the spark plug for the engine. Without it, the engine simply will not turn over. Finally, sign number 23 is the phantom cloud: depression. If you feel a weight on your mood that you cannot explain, if the world feels gray and heavy, you are likely starving for vitamin D. There is a direct highway between vitamin D levels and serotonin production. Serotonin is the feel-good neurotransmitter. Vitamin D acts like a natural antidepressant without the numbing side effects of medication. This is why people get seasonal affective disorder in the winter. They are not sad because it is cold. They are sad because the sun is gone and their serotonin factory has shut down. If you are depressed, or you know someone who is, get them on high-quality vitamin D immediately. Combine it with fasting, which also boosts mood, and you will see the cloud lift. You now possess the dictionary to the human body. These 23 signs are not annoyances, they are conversations. Your body is begging for the raw materials it needs to repair the machine. Do not silence the symptoms with painkillers, lotions, or caffeine. Listen to them, decode them, and feed your body what it is actually asking for.